Hey, what's up, guys? It's Lee Barrison here with Intero Real Estate Services in Bakersfield, coming to you live with another video that I thought might be informative for you and your business. And I certainly hope that it's something that, if you're not already doing, that you might want to consider implementing into your business in order to not only be more professional, but more importantly, to take more listings and sell more homes in the future. So today's topic, guys, is pre-qualifying the listing 100% of the time, every single time, no matter what the circumstances are, okay? Now, a lot of agents out there don't pre-qualify the listing hard enough, or they don't pre-qualify the listing at all. And some of the reasons why agents don't do that is because they just don't want to ask all the tough questions, okay? And guys, it's important to ask some of the tough questions because, that way you begin to understand the needs of the client a lot more. That way you understand how to solve the problem that they're facing on getting their home on the market and getting it sold. And so a lot of agents feel that they're interrogating the client. A lot of agents don't feel comfortable with some of the questions on the pre-qual that we use in real estate. And so before we get started, guys, I wanted to ask this question. First off, you are a professional. You are a professional real estate agent. There's no doubt about that. But all professionals have a system that they use in order to solve a problem for their client, okay? And so I'm going to use maybe a doctor, for example, okay? So say for instance you were suffering migraines, or you had cancer in your brain. There was something wrong with your brain, and you showed up at the doctor and he didn't pre-qualify you. He just says, hey, okay, if you have a problem with your brain, let's go and cut your head open and figure it out. Okay, would you be a little bit hesitant on working with that doctor? Yes or no? The answer is yes every time. And, because the doctor's going to pre-qualify you ahead of time before he makes the decision to perform surgery on your brain, right? Because it's a very, very emotional, very, very important thing in your life to either keep you alive or whatnot. So therefore, he's going to ask you a lot of questions. He's going to pre-qualify you 100% of the time before he decides to perform a surgery. Here's another professional. Let's use an attorney, for instance, okay? So if any of you guys have been involved in the legal system, a trial attorney will never, ever ask you a question that he doesn't already know the answer to. And the reason why he knows the answer is because he's already pre-qualified you 100% and knows exactly what questions to ask you if you're on the stand, okay? And so let's get started, guys, okay? So first off, if you want to take more listings in today's market, which I know everybody out there does, and I want that for you, here's some questions that are really, really important to understand more as to why we pre-qual, okay? So first off, motivation's key, guys. We want to understand the motivation of the seller. We want to know why they're moving, why it's important to them, and how that would change their lives once they make that move, okay? So some of the questions are, once we sell this home, tell me, Mr. Seller, where are you moving to next? Okay? That wasn't so hard, right? Here's another question. When we do get your home sold and we get you, to your next destination, how would that change you and your family's life, right? We want to know the emotional side behind this, okay? Another pre-qualifying question, guys, is, do you plan to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? Okay, we want to know that because, hey, we're competing against other people, and it's important to know, who our competition might be. Okay, here's another question, guys. Based on that last question, do you plan to interview more than one agent? Another question that's really important to ask is, Mr. Seller, tell me, if you were to hire an agent, what are the number one and number two most important things that you're looking for in that agent that you decide to hire? And they're just going to tell you, somebody who's honest, somebody who's, aggressive, somebody who's has a good marketing plan. They're going to tell you a number of things that are important to them. Because, guys, we want to understand what's important to the client. It doesn't matter to us, right? The client is what's most important. So therefore, we want to understand what's most important to them. So that way we can perform those duties at the highest level as they would expect. So here we go. Tell me, Mr. Seller, how much do you owe on the home? That's a pre-qualifying question, guys, and we've got to know the answer to that because basically the net, it affects the net proceeds. And again, the seller, by deleting the principal balance off of the sales price and all the other fees that are included will give them a net. And more importantly, guys, that's really the dagger. That's what gets sellers to sign contracts, is being comfortable with the amount of proceeds that they're going to take from the sale. Okay. So here's another one, guys. When I see you, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, how much do you guys want to list the property with me for? Okay. Now the reason why we ask that, guys, is because typically the sellers already kind of have an idea as to how much the home is worth, whether they're doing research on Zillow or whatnot, but they do already have an idea as to what the home is worth. And we just want to know that ahead of time because here we go, guys. If you ask the seller, how much do you want to list the home with me for when I see you on Tuesday, and they say something like $500,000, and then you do your research and then you realize that the house is only worth a buck and a nickel, is that an appointment that you want to go on? Okay. The answer typically is no. All right. So therefore we know we have an overpriced listing that we might be taking. Okay. And here's another one, guys. And this is a tough question that most agents won't even ask. Okay. But Mr. Seller, be honest with me, but have you ever thought about going for sale by owner? Have you thought about selling the home yourself? And guys, the reason why that we don't ask that question is because, oh, wait a minute, Lee. You mean to tell me that you would actually put that in the mind of a seller to sell, that it's okay to sell their own home? Guys, they've already thought about selling their own home, but they're having you come out to the property because they understand that a professional typically nets them more money versus selling on their own. Okay? But again, the reason why we ask that question is because sometimes sellers do utilize all the information that we've given them, and then, the numbers and whatnot, and then they put the home on the market themselves. And I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. So that's why we ask the tough questions, okay? So here's another great question to ask while pre-qualifying the seller is, can you please describe the home to me? Okay? Now, we don't want a description by them just saying, well, we painted the one corner in the bedroom 12 years ago. Okay, we need more information. Okay, any upgrades? Did you guys upgrade the kitchen? What did you guys do to the bathrooms? What condition is the roof? We want to have a very sound description of the home because we all know that the condition affects the price. Does that make sense? All right, and good. And so lastly, guys, another question that we want to ask during the pre-qual is, by the way, Mr. Seller, do you have any questions for me before I arrive? Now, this is when some objections may come out of them, okay? Such as, yeah, we want to know how much you charge for commission, okay? We want to know what you think the price is, okay? That's a pricing objection, okay? And the commission objection. We want to know those objections ahead of time because I would much prefer to know the objections and prepare for the objections before I arrive to the house versus not asking any questions at all and then having to handle those objections at the table, okay? So that's the reason why we ask, before I arrive, do you have any questions for me before I come out, okay? And then lastly, guys, this is the biggest question of them all, is, Mr. Seller, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, do you plan to list the home with me when I see you on Tuesday? Okay, and the reason why we don't ask that question, because it is a tough question, is because they may say no. All right, but what are the other options? Yes or maybe. So there's only 3 ways that the seller can answer that question: yes, no, or maybe. Now, what if the seller says, well, yeah, I'll list the home with you. Cha-ching, 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 all right? Money in the slot machine. You're going to take the listing. There's a good chance that you're going to take that listing, guys. So these are the questions that are important to ask while pre-qualifying a seller. Never, ever go out on an appointment ever again. Make a commitment to you. Make a commitment to your business to be more professional and have standards in your business to where you never go on another appointment until you ask the tough questions first. All right, guys? So with that being said, I hope everybody out there has a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.